This is what Singapore did. Yeah? Himself, we are struggling businesses. Our importers in Mombasa are strained. The tax regime is oppressive. It kills business. Investors are fleeing Kenya due to corruption and insecurity. In Singapore, they rose to what they became because of rule of law. In Ruto's Kenya, the one he wants to be Singapore, goons are in charge of the country. And he is saying that Kenya can be like Singapore. Singapore became what it is because of rule of law. Here is William Ruto, president of Kenya, saying Kenya will be like Singapore, first world. Singapore became what it is because of rule of law. In Ruto's Kenya, goons are in charge of the police. Who is going to invest in this country? When goons took over Nairobi and other centers, destroyed supermarkets, destroyed factories under police supervision, who in his right mind is going to come and invest in Kenya? Number two, in Singapore, education was made the primary engine of national development. In Kenya, in 3 years, Ruto has destroyed education. The free primary education brought by Mwai Kibaki, destroyed. Secondary school, free primary secondary education brought by who? Destroyed. HELB, a system to fund university education, destroyed. And then he is saying, you know, that Kenya can be like Singapore. Singapore became what it is because education became the primary engine of national development. Here is a man lying to the people of Kenya so that they can be re-elected, that Kenya can be like Singapore. Yet the first thing he has done is the opposite of what Singapore did. Singapore made sure that education is the primary engine of development. William Ruto, who is cheating the people of Kenya, that Kenya can be like Singapore, the first thing he has done in 3 years of his presidency is to destroy the education system irreversibly. And then he is telling people that Kenya can be like Singapore. In Singapore, they had bilingual policy. English for economic competitiveness, mother tongue for identity. Okay? So here in Kenya, William Ruto says when you speak your mother tongue, you are tribal.
Mr. Gachagua, no.
When we are saying we need identity, he says if you speak your mother tongue, you are tribal.
We've had what Singapore did. We've had the problems that Kenya faces before it gets to
corruption.
Singapore.
Corruption in Singapore. For Singapore to be what it is, corruption was aggressively implemented. And Singapore ranks the top 5 least corrupt countries for decades. Kenya, corruption is rewarded. State House is a crime scene. Bribery is a way of life. Theft of public resources is the in thing, where ministers display opulence. Today I saw some people from central Kenya, parastatal heads, the wider 7-star hotel, taking pictures, having breakfast, display of opulence from proceeds of corruption. Kenya, corruption is part of our life.
Mr. Gachagua.
And then Ruto is telling us, he is telling us, whereas Singapore is where it is because it dealt with corruption. Ruto is a conveyor belt of corruption in Kenya. Look at what is happening in Ikolomani, my brother. 338 acres. 800 people are being displaced. It is said that there is gold there for 643 billion. We have information. The gold under is almost 6 trillion. This gold, why are the locals not involved? Why is it not being...
Have you sent geologists to give you that information?
Let me tell you what is happening in this country. Let me tell you what is happening. Let me also tell you what is happening in this country. Let me tell you what is happening in this country. Very many people are very bitter with the corruption that is being practiced. So we have a lot of information from people inside. The gold deposits in Kakamega are in excess of 6 trillion. Okay? Yet, this gold, without public participation, without consulting the people of Ikolomani and the people of Kakamega, have been given to a company where Ruto and company have shares. It's outright corruption. The gold deposits in Kakamega are enough, yeah, to make Kakamega a county that you salivate when you go there. And these gold deposits belong to the people of Kakamega, they don't belong to government. But because there is corruption, Musalia, Wetangula, and Shinali, the MP, have been compromised by Ruto. And I'm telling the people of Kakamega, they must say no, they must not allow their 6 trillion gold deposits to be stolen by William Ruto and company.
You've mentioned what Singapore has done to get to where it
yes,
is.
Corruption.
You've mentioned problems.
So I'm asking you, my brother. You are telling me.
The question is, Mr. Gachagua, let's talk solutions.
Yes.
You form government. How will you achieve the Singaporean dream if you form government from the United Nations perspective?
We don't want to tell people like we shall be like Singapore. We don't want narratives and theories like William Ruto does to cheat people. We are honest people. What we know, we don't know whether we'll become like Singapore or like Egypt or like America or like whoever. It doesn't matter. What we know is that we must deal with corruption. Corruption. And corruption is Kenya's problem. William Ruto is convincing everybody that the problem of Kenya is tribalism, so that people stop looking at the real problem of this country. You know, we must deal with corruption decisively. And we must make sure that independent institutions to fight corruption are allowed to do so. We must also make sure that people get what they earn rightfully. We must make sure that we don't sell public assets. Like now, pipeline was being sold at 100 billion.
Before we go to pipeline, I just want to remain at Ikolomani. Still on Ikolomani.
Yes.
If you were the president of Kenya today, with the knowledge and the information that you have, that gold deposit is worth 6 trillion shillings, how differently would you have approached it?
We would have a very candid discussion with the people of Ikolomani and Kakamega. And that gold is not just within the 338 acres. That is just the entry point. Gold is underneath the whole of Kakamega. And these guys are not just going to dig that gold within 338 acres. They'll go beneath in all areas in Kakamega. We would have a very serious discussion with the people of Kakamega to tell the people of Kakamega, God in his own wisdom has given you wealth. How do we get this wealth in partnership between the government and yourselves to transform your lives? How do we agree from the sale of this gold? How do we share the proceeds to go to development, to build roads, to have water for irrigation, to build boarding schools for children, to build ultra-modern secondary schools, to build universities, to boost people to do business? It is absurd that a few people, with the connivance of William Ruto, Musalia Mudavadi, Wetangula, and Shinali, want to steal 6 trillion from the people of Kakamega, and then they remain in abject poverty. And I'm telling the people of Kakamega, they must put their foot down. They should not, even if they are to be killed or jailed, the people of Kakamega cannot allow these gold deposits to go to a few people when they should benefit the people of Kakamega. And I'm asking them to stop it until we form government. Then when we form government, we can have a discussion. How do we exploit this mineral? And you know, my brother, minerals. The conflict in DRC is about minerals. The conflict in Sudan is about minerals. And the people of Kakamega must be prepared to say no. They must protect these gold deposits. There is no way 6 trillion worth of gold deposit that can transform a whole county should go to 4 people.
I want you to address yourself to the pipeline matter that you were talking about, the sale of the same. I want you as well to talk about securitization that the government has put in place to be able to get funds to push development of the country. What is your view on those two, as well as the road that is being constructed, the Mau-Summit Road?
Pipeline,
where do you stand with that?
This issue of pipeline was brought when I was deputy president. I was a chairman of the cabinet committee that would discuss matters before they go to cabinet. And I refused. I rejected it.